So I've been working in the UK for 15 years, all over your lovely country, and almost 2 years ago I moved here. I now live in England. I moved all the way to the other side, though, in Norwich, which is in the county of Norfolk, which makes me a Norfolker. And probably my biggest issue with living in this country is that I take the train most places, right? And your trains are shit, right? Yeah, they keep raising the prices and lowering the service, right? So, of course, like anybody trying to save some money, so if you book online in advance, it's cheaper. So about a month and a half ago, I'm working here in Liverpool. I book Norwich to Liverpool return disabled person's rail card. I'm on the train heading over, and the guard comes by, asks for my tickets. I hand him over. Then she looks at me. She goes, "I need to see your disabled person's rail card." I'm like, "I'm a ginger dwarf on a mobility scooter. What part of this shit doesn't look disabled, you cunt?" It's fucking frustrating. Plus, I think I should get hazard pay, right? Because I do have a mobility scooter, right? So obviously I'm parked in the wheelchair section, which is conveniently put by the main toilet, which is a disabled toilet usually. And I don't know if you've been on a crowded train. Chances are pretty fucking good, right? But if you've ever been on a crowded train and you've been stuck by the toilets, you become the toilet monitor. Right? Because most train toilets have a button or two buttons on the outside, an open-close button. But when you get inside, there's a third button or a handle, the lock button. Right? Because a lot of people don't realize that you actually have to physically lock the door, right? Just because it's closed doesn't mean it's locked. Oh, hell no, right? You have to lock that sucker because it lights up some sort of indication, a WC or occupied on the outside to let people know that there's somebody's in there. But if they don't do that, then I start to panic, right? I start to get palpitations. I'm like, oh, somebody's in there! Somebody's in there! Somebody's in there! 6 hours to fucking Liverpool! I was tense the entire time! Somebody's in there! Last week and I snapped. Couldn't give a shit. Some guy clearly had been drinking all day, right? He came up the aisle. He's bouncing off the chairs. He gets to the loo. He hits the button. He gets in there, closes it, but he doesn't lock it. Like, I'm not saying a word. 30 seconds later, this woman comes up the aisle. She's got a look of determination on her face, right? She's got an oxygen tank. She's I'm on a mission! Right? She comes over, she hits the door open button. The door starts to swivel just as the train jostles. You see this woman, this guy in the inside doing like this Matrix move thing with his wiener out, just pissing all over the place. Of course, everybody in the carriage is just like, oh, gross, except for this woman. She's got a Cheshire Cat grin. She's 120. She hasn't seen a cock in 50 years. Yeah, well, you know what they say. Nobody gives a Hummer like a gummer. And Norwich is so way out in the boondocks, too, and there's not a lot of late-night running trains. And I gig at night. I was only gigging about an hour and a half away from Norwich at a place called Peterborough, and my train made a connection in Ely. And my first train was late, and I missed the connection by 5 minutes. And there was no more trains. And Ely is like the train station is the size of the stage, really fucking tiny. And I actually flew back from Bucharest that day, so I had all my shit with me. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to have an adventure. I'll sleep in my first train station. It'll be great, right? But then the staff came by and they said, actually, we can't let anybody sleep here. We have to lock the station between, 12 and 4. But there's a 24-hour Tesco across the way. And I was like, all right, fuck it, right? What I love about 24, what about the Tesco extras, right? They're fucking massive, right? They're huge, like a big, huge warehouse, and they sell everything, which they also sell pet goods for dogs and cats, which I was like, this is fucking awesome. Because what I ended up doing was parking my scooter in the disabled toilet. I walked to the pet section, found the doggy beds on the shelf. I fucking crawled on the shelf, slept there all fucking 7 hours. Had the best sleep I've ever had. doggy futon is the way of the future. Fuck Travelodge, man, that shit was awesome. Got me a rawhide. I was ready to go.